Ladies and gentlemen, this is another day God has given us. We thank God for this day. Welcome to TJK One-on-One with TJK. This is a place where we learn together, unlearn together, and relearn together. I'm excited today to have our guest, Sharon Tumushabe, all three names. Sharon is my niece, my late brother's youngest baby, born, I won't say the year when she was born, but we have grown together and now she's here as an expert. The reason Sharon is here mostly, recently when I did financial literacy video, many of you said we want to see the Sharon you are talking about, not only to see her pretty face, she's beautiful, she's pretty, she smiles wonderful, but you also want to learn more about finances. So I'm going to let Sharon introduce herself to you. After she introduces herself, we'll sneak in our three questions we ask every single guest who come on TJK One-on-One, and then we get in a deeper conversation. The sky is the limit. But tell you the truth, as an uncle, the youngest of five, Sharon's dad was our biggest brother, Frank Tumushabe. You met him in a school for my village. To be seated here in the United States of America, interviewing my baby, our baby, Sharon, is not just an honor, it's a blessing. And we thank God, Sharon, for you. I thank God. I can't thank God enough for who you are, where you are. I am so proud of you and I love you. Who are you to the world?
Okay, thank you so much. I'm very happy. It's evening in Uganda, being interviewed by my uncle, not just my uncle, he's my best friend. It's a bit exciting, but who am I? Sharon Tumushabe is Vice President Advisory at Zeno Investment Management. It's the first Ugandan funded fund manager that has a license back here in Uganda that is helping people plan, save, and invest for different goals. We take a goal-based approach. I've been doing this for the last 9 years and still counting. We'll make my 10th year next year. So it's a career that I have learned on the job. I can't say with my international business, I really knew I was going to end up into advisory and investment guidance. But it's passion that I've really grown over the years. I love to do. I love talking to people. I love interacting. So I think that also makes my work a bit much more easier because I love talking. I love to help people with different issues. And then I found out that finance is something that people are not taught in school so well. So we are not taught how to manage our money. We are not told how to be better managers for the money. So I felt that the fact that the industry was so new then, when you look at 9 years ago, investment is not something that is really common in Africa or in Uganda. We know banking, we know insurance. Investment was that silent, very, very interesting industry, but not so many people are familiar with it. So when I saw the opportunity, I said, why not? Let me join the industry. And I have learned on the job and I've really learned a lot from the different companies I have worked with. Started my career in Stanlib, that's 9 years ago. Joined UAP Financial Services briefly, that's now called Old Mutual. And then also did a bit of life insurance with Prudential, and with Zeno, it's 5 years and still counting. And I'm happy that, yeah, a startup from zero to now over 41 billion of assets under management. We are helping close to 30,000 customers to plan, save, and invest using goal-based investing. I'm just excited on how the future is going to look like.
Wow. Did you say 41 billion?
Yes.
Is that $billion? Yes. Billion shillings?
No, shillings.
Oh, kwacha?
About 10. No. No, not yet there, but yeah, Ugandan shillings.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think when we are done with this call, we are going to have to reach your boss at Zeno, and he can run an advert on this episode, because I am so impressed by the courage he took and moved back to Uganda to start a saving and investment company. You are absolutely right. You ask anybody in our village, Nyakajezi, Kambuga, Kanungu, we say hello to all of you. And you ask somebody about money, they will tell you a bank. Now insurance is not yet there, but we know banking, we know insurance, we've heard about this. We always scared of this. When I was a kid, when somebody said there is a bank there, so don't get close to it, there is somebody with a gun. We were not taught about these things. But for you to go from there and now be the vice president, I repeat, vice president of marketing for the first saving and investment company in Uganda called Zeno. I'm also impressed. Sometimes I've been playing soccer in Kampala and I've seen young people sponsored by Zeno. Then I said, hey, you guys, my niece works at Zeno. Oh no, we work with Madame Sharon. You know, a parent hearing that is satisfying, but to know that you are teaching people to save money is even more impressive. So you've been in banking, you've had mentors along the way who have taken you from stumbling to now 10 years in this investment company. That tells me that you didn't just finish school and run into investment. It has been a process. If you are 18 today, what advice would you give yourself given what you have seen so far? You're still a young lady, but you are not 18. What advice would you give the 18 to 21s who are listening right now? They are going to pull in their phone, put on data, CTJK one-on-one with Sharon. Give them an advice, Sharon. What advice would you have given yourself at 18?
18 years, at 18, the best thing you can do as a young adult getting into a very competitive space, you really need to invest in yourself. Investing in yourself does not mean you need a lot of money. No, there's a lot of learning you need to do. And in this, I mean, you need to skill up yourself. Skilling up means prepare yourself for the opportunities. Most of us think that what we learn in school is what we need at work, which is really which is the opposite of how life is. I keep telling people that are even fresh from university, you're like from nursery school. Assume you're from nursery. So yes, you've gotten that degree or you're going to the university. When you're coming to the workplace, it's like you're in nursery school, so you're going to study and learn depending on what the role is. And then some of us usually want to paint this picture of, this is the job I want to do. It's always good to start from what is available. The only way you get to where you want to go is to start somewhere. So even if it was you working at a shop as a shop attendant, that is the first experience you need, because your CV is going to require you to have a bit of experience. What have you done? And in this, I would say, personally, if I'm to share my own journey, in my senior 4 back, I was at a restaurant as a cashier, and this helped me to learn how to handle money, learn how to handle customers. It teaches you the small skills you need, like communication. How do you communicate to a customer when they come in? How do you handle a customer when they come in? What kind of experience do you give these people that keep coming to your business? So if I had an opportunity, let's say, instead of me sitting at home, if my mom had a shop, the first thing I would want to do, instead of watching TV or being on TikTok and watching all this social media memes and all this, I would want to actually go and see how people are working. So even if it means to go at that shop, I told you my first experience was with a restaurant where I was a cashier. And through that, I even learned how to make very good meals. Like
Yes,
the reason I cook well, I know you love the pilau and chapati every time you're back in Uganda, but I learned all this while at that restaurant. While at the restaurant, I learned so much. When it came to senior 6, actually, when I was in senior 5, I got a mentor. My first mentor was called Jackson Chigonya. He's a late now.
Yes.
I mentioned to him that when I finish my senior 6, I would love to work in an office, even if I'm a tea girl. That was the request I gave Jackson. Can I be a tea girl in the office where maybe I'm making tea and helping out with a few errands for the office?
Yes.
And all I wanted was to get in my chance to be at the table.
Yeah.
and then prove myself. Get in there, then prove yourself, prove your skills, see how much you're adding to this company. So when I went for the interview as a T girl, the boss looked at me and said, "You're a senior six backist. How about I teach you how to go and do a bit of sales, help me restock the supermarket shelves." Then what did I start doing? Restocking, getting orders, delivering invoices. I learned how to write an invoice. So we need all these skills. So you may want a job that is very up there, but as you want this job, where are you starting from? Invest in yourself, be open to learn whatever opportunity that gives you a platform to learn a skill. Please take it up.
Like we said, Sharon, and you have repeated it so many different ways. Learn, and abaganda bagamba tonyoma mulimo. Abachiga leka kujoga mulimo. I can speak it in so many languages, but you have just taught us the three main lessons here that I actually noted down. Don't just sit down, watch TikTok, watch Manchester United play. That's my team, by the way. Aba Arsenal, Tibaliko. Cram all the names of Arsenal players. Go Instagram non-stop, TikTok non-stop. These days are even harder. Nicholas is 20 years old right now, Sharon. He was born when you are watching him. His age, this is why I keep asking this question, because I have a son biological born of me who is 20 years old, and I watch his behavior. And I'm so proud of Nicholas, by the way. I'm not teaching Nicholas here. He's an amazing son. He's studying engineering at Rochester Institute of Technology. But sometimes you watch how much time he spends on a technology thing when his father is running an organization, an international company. So I keep pulling him, taking him to the office to stack papers, to help with my phone. He's now my technology person. When the phone is not working, I call Nicholas. So young people, you've heard it from Sharon, invest in yourselves. Investing in yourself does not mean get money and go drink it. You are investing in, you are thirsty. You are taking time, even reflection alone, even a walk alone. Anybody you walk into their shop and say, I want to be your T-girl, T-boy, I want to help in this company, they will never say no. In this space Sharon is in with the corporations, you can just go there and help for free. In the space I am in, non-profit, we call it volunteerism. Sharon also in senior 4 VAC went to Kutamba Primary School in Kanungu and taught lessons to the children. Yeah. Do you know what it means for a kid who is in a nursery school to see somebody who has come from Kampala and come and is teaching them a song, A, B, C, D, dancing together? The motivation they get, that is when you are mentoring and you even don't know you are mentoring, because those children, Sharon, one of those young people you taught is now in medical school at Kampala National School. Dennis Nwamai. Dennis will watch this and he can comment there. These children looked up to you. So find a mentor if you don't have one. Volunteer if you can't. If there is a shop in the village where you live, tell the shopkeeper, I know how to count and I can stock for free while you are learning a skill. While you said that, I remembered my senior 4 vacation, me and your uncle Stephen Mugerwa. We were painters, potters at Kambuga Hospital, painting, trying to get money, and then in spare time would carry coffee through a Nengo to Werere. Now when I'm driving that distance, I go, how did we even do this? But we are not sitting idle. Times have changed. Now, if you have computers, you can help Aunt Sharon. I'm talking to your nieces now and nephews. You can help Aunt Sharon, make sure her computer is ready, the bag is ready, walk her to the car, buy Aunt, then you get your pocket money. There's so many things you can do, but you also touched about the education system we have. The reason Nyaka built a vocational school is to start skilling children and young people at an early age. Our education system, Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, Mama Janet, we need more skilling rather than just teacher standing in front of the class and teach them, you must be a lawyer, now you must be an accountant. We can have people who do our hair, people who do our feet, people who drive us also need those skills and need to do them professionally. Amazing. Thank you, Sharon, for that wonderful answer. And you did invest in yourself. You did watch some of us who were adults in your life. You learned the pieces that have continued, and you unlearned some pieces that you don't have to repeat. The mistakes we have repeated ourselves don't have to be repeatable. Another thing, so you answered already what advice you would give, which you touched a little bit about how you found your passion, because every time I watch your LinkedIn post, I will see what you are doing, who is interviewing you. I know you are a woman of many talents. You are involved in your community. You are investing in different spaces. How did you really hone on this passion of investment, savings and investment, given your grandfather who can't read and write, Mzee Kaguli in Inyaka, somebody who watches this, let him know he got a shout out. He can't read and write. He didn't teach your dad or me how to save money, but he sent us to school to get an education. How did you wave from this culture, this background, your mom from Busoga, to become an investment expert? The only one in the whole family, by the way. How did you land on that passion? Was it by accident? Did a mentor lead you there? This passion of yours, how did you land on it? And how can people wave that journey?
I can actually, my way to investment was by accident. I wouldn't even say it is something I had planned to do. I'd actually interviewed with a local bank. I happened to be the best in that interview, but they couldn't take me on for various reasons. And the reason was very simple. You know, when we went to our village schools in Ishaka Adventist College,
yes,
we didn't get the best grades of distinctions in mathematics. So they were like, no, we can't take you on because these other two weren't so good in the interview, but they really passed mathematics much way better than you.
Yes.
So then that really made me sit back and be like, okay, so if I didn't do sciences to this level and I didn't perform as good as they had performed, of course, we all came from different backgrounds. Not everybody was privileged to come from a very good school. It gave me an opportunity to say, how best can I invest in myself to be more marketable?
Yes.
So when I lost that job at that bank, there was an opportunity that did not need anything to do with a lot of, they didn't even ask for a lot of, what did you study? I was still in uni, almost getting done. And they weren't looking so much at the history of, which schools did you go to, And they were like, okay, are you able to do this? We are willing to train. We know investment is still new. There's this opportunity. I went, did the interview. I was the best out of like 12 people. And they said, we know this is not something that is taught here, but we are going to invest in you. And I thank Stanley for believing in me at that point. And they said, we are looking for fresh, new people in the market that have the good mindset, that are willing to learn. We were taken for trainings in South Africa, Nairobi, and all these places. They were investing in their staff, because not everybody that comes to the workplace will come ready and prepared for the work. And of course, unit trusts were still very new. At that point, collective investments were just picking up. Majority of the fund managers were focusing on large investors, people with a lot of money, and not the retail side of the business. So I got into the space. I was just lucky that I got into that interview place at the right time, when they weren't so keen on your background and what you are. They were looking at someone who is motivated, ready to learn, and they really invested in us. And that foundation really paved my way, being one of the pioneer advisors on investments in Uganda, especially regulated investments. We're talking financial markets. It's a very heavily regulated environment. It's not like you're going to come in. I'm just lucky I was. And I was willing to work on myself and go back to school, learn all these things, get certifications, and learn. Every day I wake up every day like I know nothing. Reading is very important. You don't stop learning. When you stop learning, then that's the end of you. So it has really taught me to not only be comfortable where I am, but to keep improving on myself. It's been 9 years. I can't really rate myself in the market, how good or bad I am, but at least I'm happy with the me today. I've helped thousands and thousands of people to actually put their finances in check. So I wouldn't say it's something that I had pre-planned, like how somebody goes to do a CFA and they know I'm going to be a financial analyst. My background is international business, but with even that international business, they were willing to invest in me. And it's not so easy for you to really find organizations that are willing to invest in staff to actually get them work ready and prepare you to actually face the markets the best way possible. I love Zeno for one thing, that even when I left where I was, I remember our CEO telling me in that interview room, I know you have 5 years experience, but what you're going to experience is a whole new different dynamics.
Yes.
You're not doing what others are doing. We are doing goal-based investing. Forget all that you know, come with an empty head, and let's start from zero. So joining Zeno now, I also joined a different environment, different approach to investments, different thinking. You need to be very creative, innovative. So on a daily basis, you really have to be looking out for what more new thing can I do? But also being there and listening and solving problems is one thing that I would really commend Zeno for. You listen to what the customers want. What are people struggling with?
Customer
and then create
service.
a solution. Yes, create a solution that actually serves a purpose to solve a problem. And the tailor making sure that everybody's different. You don't just have to have one size fits all. It has also made me evolve, that when a customer comes, you look at them the way they are, listen to their needs, and then craft something that suits their particular need. That also has been a bit challenging. So you're meeting new people, new problems, and you have to keep solving all these problems. So yeah, it's quite an evolving journey. It's not just like being a receptionist and you sit in one place and you just receive guests. Here, every new person that comes is going to come with a new problem, so you need to come up with a solution. Yeah.
Very, very good. Well said. So from what I have gathered, you got in this investment, saving and investment, and to Zeno, passing through the banking. So is now investment your passion?
Yes.
Your job, passion and job, both together. Yes. That's when you wake up every morning and you're excited to go do what you love to do. And since you've touched on financial regulations and how this whole investment banking does, in a time like this, when the finances are all over the place, you've read news about British and inflation is up here, up and down. Do you have, or does your company even, I know you talk about this, what does the future look like? Some of us are getting to retirement. The young ones are going, I don't know by the time I grow up whether I will afford gas. I even saw Robert Kabushenga complaining, former CEO, that if that that people are really sweating. What can we expect in the financial markets and finances going forward?
So there's a lot, the future is not really, we don't see what the future is like, but we need to learn from the past and what is here at the present. Maybe it can only get worse or get better, and it can only get better if we start reflecting on ourselves, first as an individual, then as policy makers, because everyday things are changing. We're not living in a world which is static, like things are the same, things keep changing. So how are we evolving as humans or as people, So how I see the future, those that are prepared, those that are taking action now, those that are doing something today, will find it easier in future. If you're doing nothing now, don't expect the future to be there to receive you with nothing. So we need to start small. You're talking about inflation.
Repeat. Every guest I've had here, they have said something and I say, repeat it. That is a quotable moment. If you sit and do nothing now, don't expect something in the future. It is even biblical. Those who do not work, do not eat. Your grandfather used to punish us on that verse in the Bible. You know how he would make up a story that is in the Bible and use it to spank you? Like you sit and you are not good, you don't want to go work in the banana plantation. And he says, even in the Bible where you go to church says, if you don't work, you don't eat. Better go right now. Do nothing, expect nothing. People are suffering, taking government jobs in Uganda. And I know people I'm talking about here, live examples. And they get to retirement, Sharon. And the day they retire, they do not have a home. They do not have a chair in their house. The moment they leave the government home, completely zero. So since you make this point there, I'm going to actually put you on a task to give advice to your age mates who are now, some of you are making more money than any of us ever made in our lifetime. And you are making it so quickly, so fast. But then at the end of the day, many of them are going and spending it on a Range Rover, on somewhere they want to fly the girlfriend to Dubai. Next thing, they have a concubine they are taking to USA. Next thing, they are tweeting they are going to go attack Kenya. All these things that are happening in Uganda, what advice do you give people who are listening to you? They are your age, they are in money. How can they prepare their future? When you say do nothing, expect nothing, what can people do? Because I know it is never too late. What can people do right now?
So it starts with the planning process. You need to assess where you are now, because by you assessing where you are now, it also gives you a picture of where you want to be tomorrow. So what are you doing today to prepare for tomorrow? So it starts with the planning process. And if you can't do the planning, you can seek advice from an investment advisor. There are financial coaches everywhere. Only that people are very good at going to doctors, going to the gym to find an instructor. Yep. You need a financial coach that can actually help you align your finances, that can guide you on how best to evaluate how best you can move forward. But small things to start with. How do you get started? Number one, pay yourself first. When we say pay yourself first, it means put something aside for the future. That's how you pay yourself. If you went to Java's and had a very beautiful meal, or to whichever place, whichever hotel, and then you eat, you're feeding the body. It's the body you're enriching. You're not taking care of food tomorrow or food next year. You need to know, which kind of lifestyle do I want to live? Once this job goes, how prepared am I? How long will my savings take me throughout retirement? Because even when you look at currently, when you look at our workforce, the formal workforce in Uganda, there's a research that was done, and it's only 10% of the formal workforce in Uganda that has a formal retirement account. Ooh. The rest,
only 10%?
Only 10%, only 10%. Okay. So there's a very huge problem of people not being able to save for long-term goals like retirement. And retirement will be there, you like it or not. How do you plan for retirement? You plan for retirement with your current income. You're not going to wait for future income. You know, as humans, especially us that haven't yet learned these things, we think that tomorrow will take care of itself. I'll make more tomorrow.
But that's what they taught us, we who go to church. You love Jesus, he's going coming back. Our grandfather, your great grandfather would preach a sermon and you think, why am I even going to school? Jesus is going to come back and I'm going to be here. How are you going to save when Jesus is coming back in the evening and leave that stuff behind? I am saying it rhetorically, ladies and gentlemen. One of the reasons we continue to suffer is the generation before us looked at it the way Sharon just described it. Now, consume what you want to consume and be done. Who cares? Tomorrow will take care of itself. And now we are finding out that actually tomorrow does not take care of itself. You, who is here, you hear of the Bill Gates, you hear of the Steve Jobs, you hear of Murwanyas in Uganda, you see Wavamuno's company. These people have built these companies with a futuristic vision. Even when they are not here, the generation continues. It's a different idea right now, Sharon. If I passed away and you want to go to the village to find a house there you can sleep in, rather than to go and build one. Now you can decide to add on which is what you're telling us here to prepare ourselves. So you're saying, number one, pay yourself. Instead of eating at Cafe Javas, they will still eat, but we are encouraging these people who are coming in your restaurant to leave 10,000 on their bank account saving and come and chew 15. Then save. Where do people save this money? Think of life insurance and think of retirement. And the earlier, the better, right? If you can start in your 20s to put some money aside for saving for your retirement, you retire a better person because of compounding interest. I know there are lots of terms that we are going to throw at you. One of the reasons I like this TJK's sharing and learning and relearning. I recently interviewed somebody who we both know, actually everyone I've interviewed, you know Sharon, but Dr. Kosi out of Ghana, who I know you visited the place. We were in the Dominican Republic and we were having this conversation, investing in people. While you are investing in yourself, also invest in people. Between us, the investment we've both done in you, now we can see results. And invest without expecting anything in return from that person. And that person can then pay it forward. When I see the number you have touched, Zeno touches 30,000 people. I know one of those, the person I referred to you, he asked me, I want to invest in Uganda. I need to find an investment expert. That person is Sharon, I said, and he's happy and he's referring other people. That ties into the point you made. Do not think that when you have malaria, you can treat yourself. When you need surgery, you can cut your leg and fix your bones. You go to the doctor. You need your books to be audited, you go to accountants. Your roof falls on your house, you invite a mufundi, somebody to do it. It's the same as your finances. You have to have a financial advisor, pay them, they are not free and they are not cheap, and let them advise you from where you are. If you are a young person listening now, start with the 3 points Sharon made, pay yourself first, save something, and then eventually you will grow a nest. I know you have limited time, but apart from investment and banking, you are a mother of 2 amazing girls. What role, how do you balance the role of being a mother and work full-time and be a sister and take care of your mother and be a Rotarian and talk to your grandfather in the village? Talk about work-home balance from you as a woman of your age.
Yeah, it's very tight. You're also forgetting time for myself.
Yep.
And time for myself, you know. So the 2 amazing girls, one is 10, one is turning 3 very soon. It's quite a challenge, but you just need to plan well because at the end of the day, you need to put food on the table. So you need to have time for work and time for the children. So I tend to have my weekends. I take off weekends. Maybe this weekend I'm a bit busy with work because my work sometimes can call you to work on a weekend, or you need to put in some extra hours to just make sure that the load and the stress is not too much. So I try to alternate. If I cheat them this week, I make sure I compensate the next weekend. And they know, even with my 3-year, she knows when mommy's on Zoom, she knows. She even comes in and she knows it's Zoom time, because I work 2 days at home, 3 days at work, and I'm very happy with the Zeno flexible working time. You can choose to work from home, you can choose to work from office, and this is my office. This is not my house. This is my office.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking you.
I'm not home. I'm not home.
The standard has gone really up. Your home office. All right, we'll keep working towards that.
It happens if you're working for a technology-based company. Technology-based companies are this lit, you know. It's not the traditional all the way. Yeah. So at least my work gives me the flexibility to spend time with my children. If I feel I need to work home and Liliana needs a bit of my time, I just let my team know, because we work as a team here. So I'm like, guys, I'm going to work from home today. And then it's not like I'm not working. I'll still put in all the time. If I've cheated my work an hour or two, trust you me, you'll see me on Teams live between 7, 8, and 9 p.m. trying to catch up.
Yes.
So whoever I'm cheating time from, I try to pay it back in one way or the other. Because at the end of the day, the balance is necessary. You need the family, the girls need you, because if I'm not giving them enough time, they're not going to come out as the adults I want. And I also involve them in my work. You need to come back and your granddaughter tells you how to save money. She'll pitch to you Zeno. She knows the entire Zeno pitch. Because if it's a weekend and maybe Zeno is sponsoring a sports event, I usually carry Amy with me. And I have videos of her actually talking to people about Zeno. This is what Zeno does. So involving them in my work has also helped even my 3-year-old appreciate that mommy is going to work. She doesn't even cry for me when I'm leaving home. I'll be like, hey, I'm going to work. And she knows actually work is Zoom. So she knows Zoom is work. She knows she hasn't come to the office yet because she's just 3, but Amy has been to the office several times.
Yes.
And yeah, I try to involve. And if I'm cheating work, if I've cheated work, let's say an hour and I've spent it maybe at my daughter's school, I ensure in the evening, I pay back that 1 hour by pushing myself to work a bit extra hours as well.
I think the word is you are not cheating work when you take time off. Here in USA, we call it PTO. In fact, at one point, we had unlimited PTO so people can have the flexibility of, I need to run to the hospital with a child, please go. But when you come back, you can also work at midnight and follow up on some of the calls. You talked about your girls. We've talked about your work. So tell us about your mother. Who is this woman that raised this Sharon baby? Be this. Say something. I haven't had a guest here who has not touched on the role their mothers played. And I know I bring that question because you know my background, and your grandmother, Janet Kaguli, rest in peace, and the role she played in making me the man I am. Tell us about your mom. You can even cry.
My mom is my best friend. My mom is my best friend. She's an amazing lady. She's my support system.
Yes.
Like, I think from the time I've been a child to where I am, she's that one person that no matter how hard life goes, she will be there. She supports you. Of course, sometimes as a child, as a naughty child, you can tend to be a bit, getting off track. But she has been that one person that has not given up on me. That one person that even in the worstest scenarios, she'll still have a bit of leap of faith. Maybe I've also been that child whereby if things have not gone so well, I try to make up, but it's because she raised me single-handedly. Growing up with a single mother, she's the father, she's the mother, she's the father. At times it's too much work on her. We have 4 children and I'm the last born of 4. And it's not like she's really healthy. She's a bit sick sometimes. So you don't really want to stress her out too much. But I really love mommy for one thing. She believed in me. She gives me the strength I need. If I'm breaking down, she's that shoulder I lean on. I'd be like, even when she doesn't have a solution for it, she'll listen and she'll support me. And she'll show you that you can do it. She didn't do all this. Her being a government worker,
yes.
She's almost retiring, maybe retiring in a few months. Being a government worker, it's not like she's earning a lot, but she did her best to provide for us. And that built a character in me that is resilient. I think my resilience comes from her. Seeing how hard it was for her to raise us, seeing how hard it was for her to provide for all the 4 of us, gave me that independence. At times, some people say I'm very strong. Someone made a comment and said, it's because you never had a father figure in your life. That's why you're too hands-on. Like, you're doing everything. Some things you need to calm down. I'm like, this is how I've been raised. You can't wait for things to happen.
You tell them you're a combination of Chiga and Musoga.
And I'm Soga. Yes.
You can defend yourself. And that touches on something also really too personal. With your dad passing at a younger age, and your uncle, the only uncle here, living in the United States, long distance, doing what we can to get through the day, get through school, and get you where you are. Your mom has been a pillar that has been there, has worked so hard in sickness, in health. We moved to Kampala. Grandbabies are in Kampala, all over the place, and continues to pray that Lord. I think one said mothers have no duplicate, and your mom has really continues to be there. Ladies and gentlemen, Sharon's mom, Edith Gurwa, is there in Ginger, worked for so many years and continues to work with Ginger Municipality. And as you've heard it, for you mothers, the role you play in your children's lives matters. The words you say to them matters. I remember when you were a baby, when your mom would say, "Be," go to learn that Lusoga word "be" is full stop.
No.
And that's a no with an exclamation mark. But
yeah, she was a tough one. Actually, growing up, she was a very tough mom. I grew up with a very tough mom.
I saw it.
With a lot of canes. I was a very stubborn child. So yeah, that cane should never spare it if it was necessary.
Yeah, but now you are
very
here.
strict mom, yeah.
Yes, please go ahead. You can talk about anything you want now. The floor is yours. Tell us other things you do outside Zeno, outside being a mom and being a daughter. I know you are a Rotarian. I'm glad. I wore my badge here, former President Paul Harris, district trustee here, uncle. The first time I saw you had enrolled to be a Rotaract, and the role you have continued to play at Kampala. Which one is your
Kampala
club?
North.
Kampala North. Kampala North Club. So service clubs, volunteerism. What can you tell the people who are listening to us about volunteer service clubs like Rotary, Lion, Kiwanis? Are these necessary? Should people be joining them at all?
Wow. Wow. Rotary has made me, I wouldn't be in this town today. This town, Kampala, without Rotary, I would be a nobody.
See?
Yeah, nobody. Because how did I join Rotary? Of course, I knew you were in Rotary, but Rotary is that space where I've gotten free mentorship. Free mentorship. I remember as I was looking for a social club to join, I sat down and asked myself, where do I go? Where do I go? And this place is not just going to waste my time, but I'm going to grow. I found Rotary, and the kind of people that have mentored me in Rotary, business-wise, socially, anything, name it. It's that family. If you're looking for a place to belong, this town can be really harsh sometimes. That's why you find people packing their bags and going back to their villages in Kanungu. Why I'm not back in Kanungu now, it's because of Rotary. Because every time you're faced with a challenge or you have an idea, you have a person to bounce it off. You have people that are willing to walk the journey of life with you. Rotary is family to me. I have so many fathers in Rotary. I have aunties. I have moms. I have aunties. I have people I call mommy, not because they are my mothers, but it's because they play that role in my life that I can trust them. When it comes to business, my first biggest client I ever got was from Rotary, up to date.
Yes.
If I'm talking about, name it, and even the smallest problem you can think of, I don't know what problem you can mention, you will find this Rotary circle is very important. You'll have lawyers. So if you have a legal issue, you have someone say, hey, over fellowship, I have this challenge, free consultation. If it is, the first time I actually had, one of my mentors is the former deputy governor of Bank of Uganda. I met him through Rotary. How would I ever have gotten such a mentor? Exactly. Rotarian Louis Kasekende. I met him in Rotary. And these have been very amazing people. There's Rotarian Tusu. That one is like my father. My kids call him grandpa. While you're not here, Amy has a grandpa in Kampala.
Oh, no.
Tusu,
That's going to cause a fight in this family.
Sharon Tusu is like my papa, you know? There's nothing that goes wrong. Actually, these are people that actually check on you. You're so quiet. How are you doing? You make friends. I have friends in Rotary that I would have never met. I have friends who are 60 and 70 years. And sometimes people are like, how are you even friends with Sharon? Because of Rotary. So I found family in Rotary. You can't be lonely in Rotary. You have family, you have somebody to talk to. They are caring people. It is service. We give back to the community. Now, that was me, how I've benefited. The community at large, the service projects that happen within Rotary. You know, I'm also the executive director at Kaleke Kasome.
Yes,
So
you do.
even seeing you with Nyaka, it has motivated me to actually give back to the community. Volunteerism has really, you know, Rotary, they call them the irrational human beings that pay to serve. But I also go ahead, and volunteer in other NGOs that are transforming the community and making sure everybody's happy, everybody's living a good life, health, sanitation, name it. So it has become part of me that I need to give back. And the only way I give back is through Rotary or partnering with other NGOs that are actually doing something to change this world to make it better for each and everyone that is living in it.
Yes, and I know even before Kaleke Kasome, you were working with your friend distributing sanitary products in schools. You have gone on charity walks and took people to volunteer to give blood in different parts of the country. You've given clothes. Something like you are seated in Kampala, you have 20 outfits, and there's a woman in Karamoja who has nothing. When we have somebody going there sending pieces of clothing. And again, this for us was demonstrated to us, though we didn't learn finances from our parents. Your great grandfather, my grandfather, demonstrated volunteerism and giving back. Stefano Rukwira, who passed away many, many years ago before you were born, 1988 to be exact, demonstrated to us volunteerism and has gone through the family. But this doesn't mean you who is listening have to have had it in the family. You can do it. Rotarians are all over the world. Any place you go in the world, there's a Rotary Club, there's a Lions Club, there's a Service Club. You meet every profession you can meet there, you have fellowship. There is a fee to become a Rotarian, but when you look at the benefits and the networks you grow, they outweigh those things. Every guest that has come here, I also talked to Humphrey for the first one-on-one with TJK, and he reminded me that the first time I ever met him in Kamocha, I was with you. You are the one who introduced me to Humphrey. So people who see Richard Hand being Richard Hand right now can go back and say Jackson mentored Humphrey. But to get to Humphrey, Sharon took.
Actually, I remember Richard Hand when Humphrey, while it was still an idea, we used to go and volunteer, put in our own fuel, go to this passionately. Humphrey knows when Richard Hand was starting out, we'd go to schools. I was a peer counselor from senior 2. Uncle, from senior 2 as a peer counselor with Mary Stops Uganda. So it just flew in me. It just, the volunteerism is just in my blood. I think it's in my bloodstream.
But there's a big point, Sharon, here we have to make, and for our people who are listening to us, these links and linkages cannot be forgotten because they lead us to where we are. I'm going to do an episode coming up here on generations of how these trees are connected. Once in a while, you inspire somebody to do something. Kaleke Kasome is thriving, Richard Hand is thriving. There is room for as many people to do work and share information.
Forgetting Dora Mwima Foundation.
Dora Mwima Foundation. How can I forget my girl, Dora? And the salon, she's a Nalong and doing big things. That's the sanitary products I was talking about actually earlier, and many others. So opportunities are there, ladies and gentlemen. The learning processes are there, the unlearning is there, and relearning is there. And everyone who has come here have said, What is your shameless thing you want to do, promote? You are selling diapers, you can say it here. The people, listeners, have already heard about what you do, and you're selling, there's a book you've written, there's a channel you want people to watch. I know you are encouraging people to come and invest. If you want financial services, Sharon has already told you, find a professional. You are looking at one, or she can guide you to one who meets your criteria. What else would you like to promote today on TJK?
Okay, I didn't see this coming. Maybe two ways. I would love people to just go visit our website. That's myxeno.com, myxeno.com. Or maybe if they're on MTN and they would want to learn how to invest using Go Best Investing, they can dial *165, *5, *7 hash. And
say them slow, darling. Those numbers slow. Somebody's gonna have a pen there and there. There's no data. Data is something big. People are in Chi now in Rwanda. They're going to listen to this.
Okay.
They're going, which number did she say? So say them again.
On MTN, you can access Xeno services by dialing *165 *5 *7 hash. Or you go to the Momo menu, which is *165 hash, select savings and loans. That's option number 5. Then select option number 7. That's Xeno investment. I would love you to try it out. Invest your savings today. You will not regret it. You're able to access your money anytime when you need it back. It's invested daily. That is something I would really encourage people to do. Maybe on the development side, I would like to encourage you. So the only way you're going to invest in yourself is by learning. How am I learning every day? I subscribe to Scribd. I don't know, Uncle, if you know Scribd. Scribd should pay you for this Kalango.
Oh, Scribs. Let me give you my account number. I actually don't know what Scribs is.
Scribd is an online platform that has ebooks, audiobooks. So that's what I use to enrich myself with knowledge. I go on, and it's for paying. It's not for free, but it's an investment I'm happy to make. So if there's any new book I want to read, I just get on there and read as much as I can. The fact that I'm paying money, it even pushes me to read more, because I'm like, okay, I paid the subscription. I need to read like 2-3 books a month. So that also helps me with the energy. When it comes to my mental state, how am I trying to ensure that I'm afloat?
Yes.
I've enrolled for meditation, and it's helping me to relax my mind. It's helping me to focus myself and to just relieve all the tensions that come onto our brains when we are running through life. Life can be very hectic sometimes.
That's
so meditation helps you to actually cool down and also tap into those untapped places in your brain. So yeah, those are my 3 key places. Visit Xeno website, learn more. You may not be able to subscribe, but there's so much to learn online. Search for a topic online, learn something new from maybe 5 or 3 different pages on the same topic. Pick knowledge. There's so much on the internet that people don't want to use or utilize. If you're new out there, before you even get to start working, go and learn email etiquette. How do I write a very good email? How do I improve my English? Those small things are very important, because then when you come to the workplace, they become very valuable.
Tell people to read your uncle's books too, 7 of them. And this groups people to pay me back. They can put my books on their the children books. I know Amy, my girl, Amy, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that Sharon didn't tell you. Amy is 10 now. So when I was 42, Amy comes in this world and calls me grandpa. Oh my God. Grandfather Jackson, I am going, oh my God, I'm grandpa already. So I have retrained Amy's mind and all her cousins I can't even remember the number now. Between Amy, you are 2, Hilda's 3, Joan is 2, Ruth is 2. That's already 9. I think there's another.
More 2 from Stephen.
Stephen 2, that's 11. I have 11 people, ladies and gentlemen, who call me, basically I'm their grandpa, but I've trained them to call me uncle.
Uncle.
To stay younger. Uncle number 1, because I'm an uncle for their parents, and the second uncle, which makes me the grandpa. But ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, to grow up in Nyaka village, to the parent who raised me, or my sisters 2 who are still there, my sister who passed away and Sharon's dad who passed away, and get to a point where you are seated where I'm seated today and speaking to your niece who is giving financial advice and knows scripts that I don't even know about when I'm an author. This is what you call success. This is what you call blessing. People usually will look at things that have not gone right in your life and criticize this piece and criticize that piece. Your inner peace and stability, how you define yourself, how you pull through those mental things that Sharon is talking about. Find those things. I run. I posted this. Recently, I posted a picture helping a friend of mine doing work on a construction site. When people saw it, like, really CEO? Some people have only known Jackson as CEO, graduate of Columbia University, this whole stuff, and you are hanging out in these big presses, you are in a plane left and right. They forgot I shared 1 pencil with 5 siblings. They forgot that we slept 5 of us in 1 room in a small house in Nyakajezi. They forgot that we walked 7.5 miles to go to school. Sharon, when she was 3 years old, I stole against her dad's wish, his bike. He came home, put a bike outside. I sneaked and got the bike, put Sharon on the back, and we went to Kakindu up there to buy cassava, muogo. And on the way back, Sharon forgot and put her foot in the what do they call?
I still have that scar. People keep asking, what happened to your leg?
And if you ever met her without shoes or heels, look on her heel. She has a big scar.
Left leg.
Left leg.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And go through all that, and we are here. Sharon, it's such a blessing. Call you daughter, niece. It's an amazing blessing for your girls. Call me grandpa. Indeed, I am. Uncle is the public one. I am so glad you are here. I will be getting Jackie. I will get Michael. I will get all other nieces and nephews to come on one-on-one, whether in a group or one-on-one like this. But this is recorded not only for me and you and the people who are watching us, but for our children. Nicholas, Talia, Tessa, Noran will watch it, and this will be in records forever. It's like the books I've written will be here forever. Continue to shine, continue to bless God, continue to count your blessings, and don't let anybody tell you you can't do it, because you've already done it, and I know the best is yet to come. For all our listeners, subscribe, share, comment, and let us know other topics and other people you would like to see on TJK one-on-one with TJK. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you for having me.
For me. And if there is more we can add, we will ask you a short bio to include. When it goes up, we'll alert you so you can alert all your friends and family. Blessings and thank you.
Thank you too for hosting me today.
All right. Bye.